Welcome to another episode of Impact Society, and I'm excited about these guests that I have today. We're going to talk about going from the prison to the palace. We're going to talk about going from the corner boys to the corner office. So stay tuned for this episode of Impact Society. Welcome back to Impact Society. And today I have some special guests. They're the founders with me in Impact Society. I'm going to introduce these guys and we're going to have some conversations because our goal today is to bring hope to those who are in a similar situation. I think everybody on this this board today has some background. We came from the streets, we came from poverty, we came from the mud, right? But we've been able to turn that around. So I'm going to introduce our guests, let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to open up conversation.
Yes, sir. My name is Damian Davis, man. I'm born in the Bay Area, raised in the New Mexico area, moved all over with, just to give a little bit of my background, a single mother raised me, stepdad in, out, you know how that stuff goes, but didn't have that male guidance, that strong male guidance, and that eventually led me to following people in organizations, I should say, that led me astray. That's what I could say. And as I got older and I did some prison time, I fell into the trap. I fell deep into the trap. And after I got home, I had changed my mind. I'm not getting into these things anymore. I'm not getting into this trouble. I'm not living that life anymore. And shortly after that is when I linked up with Pat, man, and got in with Impact Society, and my life has changed. I have a daughter now. My mantra, my big why is that she'll never call a man boss, and she'll never hear me call another man boss. So that's what we build, and that's what we doing here.
Awesome.
My name is Al from east side of Fort Worth, better known Pollywood. I hooked up with Patrick, got with Impact Society. I grew up my mother and my father, they divorced when I was 5, so went to the streets when I was a young teenager. Didn't know any financial literacy. Linked up with Impact Society, and it's changed my life since then.
Awesome.
Hey, my name's Cameron. I'm from Hyannis, Massachusetts. I linked up with Patrick recently, probably within the last 6 months, and already I've had instant life-changing situations occur. Right now I live in Florida, hopefully soon to be living in Texas at some point soon.
Hopefully.
Will be soon.
Amen.
Will be soon. Corrected. I appreciate
Yes,
that. Yeah, similar situation. I came from a single mother. My dad was involved for a short period of time when I was young and in and out. He was a musician. He had a lot going on. So when he left, I was left with no guidance as well. Definitely the easiest person to go to is the person that's successful in your area. And those people weren't the people that I needed to be looking up to, but those were the people that helped me at the time. So I was looking for change in my life, and I couldn't find it in all of the jobs, dead-end jobs, continuing to try to look for growth that wouldn't happen. And a bad situation and bad circumstances led me to Pat and led me to Impact Society. The growth that we've already endued right now is crazy, and I already know it's going to go so much more.
Amen. I'm excited, man, because our whole goal is, you guys are talking single-parent households. That's actually one of the leading statistics, right? When you look at, they say that if you had a single-father household, you'd actually be better off. But single-mother households, and this is not a shout-out, to any mothers out there, we're definitely praying for you. We're looking to bring those resources to you and bring help. But the truth is going to remain the truth. And that is, when you look out right now at the statistics, single-mother households lead in conviction rates. They lead in other crime rates. They lead in dropout rates. And so if you're a single mother out there, for sure, I want you to get plugged into the system so that we can make sure that your children don't go down the same pathways that some of us did. Now, thanks be to God that we've been able to change our lives.
Absolutely.
Right?
Amen.
I want to ask about
Amen.
that. Is everybody faith-filled? Is everybody, let's start with you. What was a turning point for you? What did you know that, even though this is where you are, you're different. I remember us having conversations, for instance, about, you're in jail. Well, you're in prison. You're doing a bid. How long was that bid?
I did 6 years.
You did 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
We don't necessarily want to disclose what it is, but you did 6 years on a bid. And while you were in there, were you smiling? Were you sad? Were you depressed? Were you reading books?
I'm gonna be honest, man. Like I can shout out to my brother Tyler, man. He'll tell you. But the people, when I call people out there, I was their outlet. Like I was their like bright light. They're asking me what I'm going through. I'm like, man, today ain't bad. We had meatloaf for lunch. Like, and it's not that I was like making light of the situation, or not that I was happy to be in there, but I understood positivity. I read a lot of books in there that really helped me understand the power of the mind. One of the books that changed my life was The Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill. I read it, and then I read it, and then I ate it, and then I swallowed it, and I threw it up and ate it again. I read that book so many times, but just the power of your mind and having a definite chief aim of where you wanted to go. So I wanted positivity in my life. I didn't have it, so I chose to be positive in lieu of positivity. And man,
Now, you wasn't like that day one going in the walls.
Oh no, I was sad. I was
Yeah.
sick, bro. Parvo. The dog had parvo, bro. I'm telling you, I was sick, bro.
Rightfully.
Sick, bro. Yeah. What was a turning point?
Yeah, like when was the day like? So you walk in. I'm assuming everybody's scared. You don't know what to expect. You're going into these prison walls. You got a 6-year bid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
My first celly had
there's guys in there
25
for
years.
life.
Yeah, my first celly had 25 years.
It's crazy how that happens.
Bro, and then to put on top of that, we're on a statewide lockdown. So we're on a 3-month lockdown as soon as I get in there, bro. Never been like that. And so, yeah, but my bad. Yeah.
No, and so didn't start off great. But
No.
when did you become the positive man? When did you become the guy that they could say, man, how the heck are you still smiling and you're in there?
I want to say like once I got into the prison, once I got in there and I looked at, I'm like, bro,
Like
I got 6
acclimated?
years. I'm not gonna be sad for 6 years, bro.
Right.
That takes energy,
Right.
bro. For what?
Right.
Like that's never been me. I never had a defeatist spirit. I never had a giving up spirit. That's never me. So like, if I'm here, I'm gonna make the best of it, bro. I'm gonna be the best prisoner that you could be, for lack of a better words. You know what I mean? And I was looking for more. I wanted more. And it just when I look into my time, like started getting into it. They say it takes a month to make it happen. After a couple months, I realized, I'm not coming home. Like this, I got 6 years to do. I'm just trying to strap in, and then that just hit me. Like, I got to change my mindset. I started reading only nonfiction books. Only nonfiction. I didn't want no fantasy books. I didn't want no Harry Potter. I wanted only nonfiction books. And I got real cool with the librarian. She would bring me some other books that wasn't necessarily in the library. I can't give her name, but you know who you are, my dog. But she put me on for real.
Lupio, well, I'll call you Lupio, but
Yeah.
did you ever do any time or tell us about the affiliation?
Grew up in the streets. My crew were called Hard Ass Mexicans, based out of east side of Fort Worth. Never did time. Almost did 10 years. I was facing 10 years. I beat that case. After that, I went to the oil field. After the oil field, I was out there one time and sick as a dog. I said, man, I feel like I was dying. I said, and that's one day I just cried out. I said, God, I feel like I'm dying. Like, I just want to go back home. Like, if you're real, heal me, because I feel like this is it. And the next day I woke up like brand new. I was like, okay. So I asked God, hey, heal me, and I'm gonna go back home, be with my family. And that's the first thing I did. I left job making $3,000 a week, came straight back home, started working on my family, started going to church more, and fast forward to a couple years ago, just working. I moved out of the hood. Went to the suburbs, got my family out.
Hey.
But I felt like something was still missing. And one day I'm just in my man cave playing the PS5, Call of Duty, a couple of friends, and I was like, there's something missing. Like, there's got to be more to life than just working all week, 60 hours, paying bills. It's a never-ending cycle. I said, okay, something's got to be missing. And I'm just playing. I'm like, all right, God, I need another favor. Like, there's something out there that I have not came across that I want to learn more. Like, I opened up a new door. I don't want to be working forever. And then God, led me to Patrick. Mm. I got a message from one of his friends, which is a Christian, Daniel. Mm. He was a rapper, and I knew him from a couple of concerts here local. And he reached out to me. He said, "Hey, bro, you looking to make extra money? We have a business event going on. It's gonna be right there in Carrollton." And I was like, okay, that's just weird because just yesterday I asked God to open up another door to make like passive
Amen.
income, and He just hit me up talking about passive income. I was like, okay, let me give it a shot. He called me, hey, we're gonna be up in Dallas this weekend, and I was just like, man, I don't know, it's kind of little. I only know him from San Antonio social media. I said, what if it's like a scam or something? So I don't know. So I made an excuse. I was like, nah, man, I'm working this weekend. I can't go. All right, cool.
So
We'll
that was
try
an
next
excuse
weekend.
this whole time.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that was no. I just kept giving him an excuse. I'm like,
Now
and
we
then
know.
finally I said, okay. I asked God to open up a door for passive income. Let me just go check it out and see what it is. I said, if it's a scam, then all I did was waste my 2 hours of my day. So that's it. So then I went out there, met Patrick, and like, dang, this is real. Like, how come nobody taught this to us in school, financial literacy? I said, I was never taught this. I went home to my wife excited. I said, man, you need to go to the office. She's like, well, what is it? I said, I don't know. It's just so much, so much information. I don't even know how to explain it to you. Like, you need to go because you might hear something that I didn't hear. I said, so you need to go. And so one day she went. She said, okay. So she went with me with the following weekend, and the rest was history.
And man, this guy's been impacting everybody in his family. Then he got his daughter and your cousin in, who then got his, and then we just been going through the whole lineage of just impacting everybody down the line, right?
Yep. Teaching my kids entrepreneurship
And trying to
They don't-
shift their whole language.
Yep. Shift their language so they don't have to exchange their time for money all the time. They can make their own schedule, make whatever. Hey, if you want to make 100 this hour, you can make it. You don't need to go to a job and make that 100 in 6 hours. So
That's right.
yep.
Cam, talk us a little bit about some of the things that kind of shaped your upbringing, and then you also did some time. Talk a little bit on that, and then what was that moment for change?
So I think that I have a few like awakening moments where I recognized the change that I was going through, and I could feel like kind of the past was getting left behind, or I wasn't maybe satisfied or attracted to the same things that I was ultimately. So I'll real quick. I'm going to jump back and forth, but back home in Massachusetts, I went through it. I went through the ringer. I was in and out of institutions the entire time. I think I was 13 or 14 when I first got locked up, and it was nonstop after that point. I never made it a year, not one time, until 2019, I think. But I had problems in Massachusetts, and I was trying really, really hard. I wanted to get it together, and I just couldn't get out of the streets. But there wasn't anything that could pull me out of the streets because there wasn't anything giving me an opportunity. Nobody was going to teach us financial literacy, that was for sure. And nobody else knew it. Nobody else was aware that they were even in. People thought that they were being successful, and they weren't. Now I know this. But so I got in trouble in Massachusetts. I had a family at this point. I had my first daughter when I was in high school, and that was a toxic relationship. It led to a whole bunch of problems. So my second child, I was really trying to get it together, and I wanted to be better for them. So I made the changes necessary, and it was like a wall every time. You know, I go get a job at a painting company, and I'm thrilled. You know, I'll go in here. I want to work hard. I want to make it happen, and it just wouldn't happen. And I felt like it was something with me. I'm like, damn, something's wrong with me. Like, what's going on? I can't conform. But I'll go to jail, and I'll follow every rule. I will not get in trouble. They won't even know my name because I just smooth through like it's over with, you know? So I'd be like, damn, all right, when I'm out here and there's no structure, I can't get anything together. When I have the structure in there, I can get it together. So I started making little arrangements or changes to my life to try to push that structure in. I ended up getting a job at this place called VO Financial Corporation. And I was like, this is it. You know, they're like, you can make $100,000 a month. They're like, you're a dope boy. You sell dope. You can make dope money here. Sign me up. Let's ride. And I started seeing it. I got a little taste of it, but it just wasn't what they presented. It was a way to get everybody else, them rich, and us just make $20 an hour behind I was on a phone booth, you know what I'm saying?
You're just a dollar.
Yeah, in a
Smiling
cubicle, like,
down.
hey, how are you? Getting hung up on. So I went back to the streets, and I got in trouble, and I had 2 cases pending for selling, and I'm like, all right, I got to go. So I ran. And I went to Florida, and I'm like, I'm going to change here. I'm going to get everything together. I'm going to tighten up. I'm going to make it. And I didn't. I kept running into the same roadblocks. So the real change, honestly, came when I was in prison. I got a 3-year sentence for breaking into my own house.
Ain't that crazy, by the way? We had this. We broke that down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's crazy how this man went to jail went to prison
for
for
falsifying
going into
basically
your own
identity,
property,
yeah.
but had a falsified document. While you were in there, there was a pedophile or something,
Yeah, he had 72 counts of child pornography. He got a year in the county.
and you got 3 years in
Yeah.
prison.
Yeah, I did 30 months.
Yeah. What a wonderful system, by the way.
Yeah, it is even worse than that, but we'll talk about it later. So when I was in prison, I met this kid. God rest his soul. His name's Revo ZMF. He's a ridiculously talented artist out of Immokalee, Florida. Came from the slums, and he just passed away recently. But I met him, and I've loved music since my dad played music when I was a child. I've known it. I've had a love for it. So I wanted to be involved. And this kid did music, and he had everything. He had it going for him. So I started jumping in, involved with that. And New Year's Eve, 2014, I was at my bunk. Everybody in the dorm was high. They were smoking. They were wild. It was reckless. People were drinking. It was crazy. I didn't smoke. I didn't smoke cigarettes. I didn't use any drugs. I didn't drink alcohol. I didn't use a phone because I couldn't get on the phone. You had to put bills in and everything, and they had to get approved. So it was just a bad time. And I was sitting down, and I'm like, you know what? This is crazy. Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to go out here, and I'm going to do bad stuff because there's nothing. Mm-hmm. So I prayed to God to try to give me something, and I woke up in the morning, and I wrote a whole song, and it was perfect. And that was the first change. But if there isn't anybody to help you with a hand up, then you're just going to keep falling back in. When am I going to... I got out, and I'm looking for things, and I just end up falling back into the wrong crowds.
Right.
Recently, with you, is when the real life-changing moment happened. And eye-opening, couldn't describe it to begin with. I lost my job. I have a mortgage, new mortgage. I have 5 kids. I lost my job, right? So I called a friend who I met in jail, and I was like, "Hey, look, things are crazy. I'm in trouble." He's like, "I'm gonna call my brother." So he called Joel, and Joel called me. He's like, "I got this dude. You need to meet him. It's Patrick Wilbanks." I'm like, "All right, bro." Another sending me to somebody else, and lo and behold, my wife had been begging me for 4 years. She's like, "Learn this stuff. Learn about life insurance. You can borrow against your death benefit. Like, these are realities. These rich people, they're doing stuff with life insurance that we don't know about." And I looked for it, and I'm like, "Listen, I understand it's real. I know it's real. And I'm seeing all the information, and I'm watching these podcasts and Instagram, but I can't find it." And when I lost my job, I got plugged in with Joel. Joel plugged me in with you, and you got on the phone, and this is what it was. And I'm like, "Oh, my God." And then your stuff happened.
Yeah.
And we both kind of lost contact for a while. And I just remained hopeful the whole time, bro. Like, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for Joel. I'm trying to make it through. And then I got another job because I thought this wasn't going to happen. Just, last week, right?
Yeah.
I went to a pizza place, bro. And I got a job at a pizza place. And the girl at the counter is 15. The other girl's 16. The other girl's 17. And I'm like, damn, this sucks, you know? So I go to the car, and I'm like, all right. This is horrible. I'm like, I gotta fix this right now. So I'm crying and I'm praying, and I'm like, do something. Like, you gotta do something. Like, what's gonna happen? And Pat called, and I'm like, I started laughing. I'm like, there's no fucking way this is gonna happen right now. And he's like, "Hey, I need you in Dallas, or I need you in San Antonio by Sunday?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, all right. I'm broke, so I can't get there. And he's like, "We'll figure it out." And then he called me right back. He's like, "Scratch that Wednesday." I started work on Tuesday, and I'm supposed to work through the week and through next week. So I went to the boss. I'm like, "Oh, by the way, I got to go for a week." And he let me leave. But that was the absolute moment of clarity where there was no question in my mind, like, this is absolutely where I'm supposed to be there. How could it be any different?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Let's talk about that, too, because, I believe God is moving. I was a man of no faith, and then God changed my life. And that's why... Impact Society is a way to give back, because there's probably somebody out there praying right now, wishing they had that resource, wishing they had that person, wishing they had that, information that could potentially change their life. And, if we had it before, we probably wouldn't have ended where we were, right?
Absolutely.
And so, Dame, you go first. Tell me, because we had every single one of us has had like a divine moment in the interactions of getting to where we are today. Talk about it. Because you were praying, you were telling me how you were, praying while you were in prison, hoping for a particular opportunity, and you met somebody, and then unpack that.
Man, even before that, so before I got locked up, I was doing music. I used to go by Dame Savage back in the day, and then I remember I used to take these pills, these type of pills, or whatever. And this particular night, we're at a party. I took some pills, and then I guess I overdosed. I don't remember. I just black out, and then while I was blacked out, I just remember hearing like, "You're not the savage. You're the prophet." And then when I came out of that, my friends and Sean and a bunch of people were there at the party. But then when I came out of that, I changed my name to the prophet. So I've always had I wouldn't say a relationship. I always knew who God was. I say he always knew me, but I guess I didn't know him like that. You know what I mean? But my grandma was a pastor, so they tried to force me in church. I would be in there, but I never connected with it. It just, there was nobody that looked like me. They were always older. They were always nobody that connected like me. So I just didn't resonate with it. And then as I got older, I just started having real strong pulls towards that way, man. I can't refute it. I can't refute it. And then even when I was locked up, one of my main prayers, I was looking for something to change my life, looking for something to be able to put my people on and give them an opportunity at the same time. And that's what I thought music was. I can get up here, I can get a deal, I can put my homies on, open the door for them. I that was my thought process. And it's crazy how all the nefarious activities that I used to do, God used all those things to prepare me for where I'm at today, as far as creating connections and just knowing people. And it's crazy how it all worked out, man. And I'm thankful. And it's crazy how my grandma knew it the whole time. You know, she always knew.
Yeah, I always do.
So the guy that introduced you, I only.
Oh my goodness. All right, so this is what I'll say, because all right, so
he didn't stay very long, but it made the connection that was needed.
I told Pat, like, man, like, I know for certain that I would not have gotten in this business if God did not put me in prison, because the person who introduced me to this business, he was a friend of the mother of my child, you know, and prior to prison, I would have peeped the whole play. I knew what it was. I knew, you know what I'm saying? I knew what it was. This is my friend, whatever. I peeped it. I could tell off top. And before, I probably would have crashed out. I would have addressed the situation like that. Like, nah, I know that is not your brother or whatever this is. That's how I would have addressed it. But this time, I just peeped. I learned to peep before I leap. So I just sat back and I just kept it cool. You know what I'm saying? Let's be friends. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be friends. And I played it differently. I learned temperance. I learned patience. I learned that. And I just let the situation play it out. And that literally I believe the one thing he was there for is he led me to Pat, man. And my life is completely changed. It's
divine intervention.
I have no doubt. I know me before prison, bro. I would have flashed, bro, because it's disrespectful how that was, and regardless of when they did whatever, the fact that she was lying. And God has blessed me. God has blessed me with discernment. I seen it so clear. I knew what it was. Yeah. But man, I know me. Yeah, I had to go through that. I had to learn the patience. I had to have that change, bro. And then literally, like I clearly see it. It's not a doubt in my mind. I had to go through that. I mean, I'm thankful.
And even you and I, Lupio, like, you know, Daniel is a longtime friend of mine.
Shout out to Daniel Villarreal out of San Antonio.
Absolutely. Funny how I met Daniel was I just got saved, and I used to like kind of host I didn't know how to teach anybody, but I could read. So for lunch, we could read the Bible, but I don't know how to teach or anything. But if you guys want to go and we have like, you know, and that's kind of how I met him. And I remember one day we go out to lunch and he's rapping worldly rap, right? And I'm changing my life. And I said, yeah, I got a song too. And I rapped a Christian song, this new Christian song that I just wrote. And he was like, what kind of music is that? and anyways, that's how we bonded. We built a long-term relationship. When I spent 15 and a half years in real estate, and I had always had this idea of, man, I wish I could get more of people involved in an actual movement and an actual, you know, something that's not a job, something that allow you to take your finances into control and all this stuff. And so one of my first guys I reached out to when I finally started actually putting that together was Daniel. Daniel joined me, and we took off. And then he ends up leading me to you, right? Daniel's not here
Yeah.
anymore, but that relationship opened up the door for you and I to connect, and how we've been impactful for the family. Like I said, I mean, I'm watching how the language is changing, right? Like you guys' language is changing, your mindsets are changing, and you guys are really locking in to go to that next level.
Yeah, definitely. So after Daniel got a hold of me, after we went to the office, I was like, okay, like, so it can't be no scam. I said, because if it is a scam and he's a Christian, I said, I'm gonna expose him on social media. that was my mindset back then. I said, okay. So then I started going to the office, learning all this financial literacy stuff. I'm like, man, I wish. And then so I told Pat. I think one time we bumped heads like at the beginning because he was trying to get me my mindset right, trying to get me on the.
He was trying to scam you.
No, trying to get my mindset right. And so one day I was like, hey man, I'm gonna have the fight at the house. He's like, cool. He said, turn that into like a event, invite your family over. I'm gonna come over and I'll teach them. But I thought he was just trying to call me out in front of our group that we had. Like, this dude trying to call me out. He must not know me. Like, I'm from the streets. I grew up in the streets. I'm finna. All right, wait till I see him. I said, so we bumped heads a little bit. He like, I finally, after a couple of days, I said, okay, he's trying to teach me, like, trying to grow my mindset. I said, I'm over here thinking bad, already thinking negative. I said, okay, so yeah, man. Then fast forward, I said, hey, he started, teaching me more financial stuff, and it's helped me out a lot. Here recently, he taught me about how to do C corps, how to do business, how to get funding, and I was like, dang, I've known you for 2 years now. Hold on, I never learned this about you. Like, hey, he said, because you still didn't have the mindset yet. Yeah. He said, if I would have told you this 2 years ago, you would have thought that was a scam. So he said, I was waiting for you to grow your mindset where you're at the level, because you can't. It's the steps to everything. So right. you gotta take it step by step, and like the Bible says, seek and you shall find. And
for sure.
And even at a point that was because we had some other people in the office that was causing some issues and stuff like that. But that unity that we were building, another reason to solidifying that we were here to help.
Yeah. The other ones were scamming.
The devil's not going to block you. The devil is not going to block you from something that is going to be beneficial for you. He's not going to block you from something that's bad. He's going to block you from something that's going to be beneficial. That's right. So if you see stops in your progress and you're watching this happen in active, like real time, that is one of the things that you can recognize as being, the devil stopping you from what you need to do. Especially even with like, damn, this is a scam. That's like the easiest one that everybody it pops in first quarter. It's like, the only one, they're like, oh, this is too good to be true. Or you don't want to take the time to listen to it enough to understand why it makes sense completely.
I learned from Pat, scam is not a scam. It's just you're still confused about money. That's all. That's what scam means.
What do you believe? What is a scam to you? What does that mean to you? They don't even know what a scam is. Oh, like where one person does something and everybody else aren't. I was like, sounds like working for Walmart.
Right. Sounds like you're working at a job or too. Anything.
Yep, any job.
So we want to go out and impact people. We want to create impact in a big way, big splash out there. And we want to talk to the youth. We want to talk to guys that were in similar situations. I'm bringing that up because when I look out, when a lot of these guys are trying to change their minds, we've had conversations. We've had conversations with guys. There was a guy that we talked to one time, for instance, who said, look, man, I'd rather shovel manure than to try and get in business and stuff, because if I make too much money, I might go back to prison.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Right? They get scared. So we were talking about how they, because even myself, when my life changed and I had this opportunity to come out of my sentencing, right, and just gets to settle for 6.5 years probation, I was working at McDonald's and Chick-fil-A and all these things because I was scared of the hustler Pat, because I associated the hustler Pat with the other Pat, the Pat that could, make you go missing if I needed to. And so I was scared to let myself come out and show the world a changed man,
for sure,
and stuff like that, right? Where you guys are, like, help people unpack that, because some people might judge my chapter 33 with chapter 1 of somebody else, right? Would wish that we could change this all overnight. I'm a firm believer, man. If you took 20 years to get in the hole, why do you think you're going to get out overnight? I don't understand that. But what we're here to teach and talk about is how growth and development is progressive. It's something that it happens daily, right? You have to grow daily. It's not something that's just going to immediately change. But do we still struggle? Do anybody still struggle with?
Do I? Do I? Yeah. When don't I? Of course. It's a everyday journey, but it's just about having the discipline, not necessarily not necessarily the motivation, but the discipline to be like, nah, that's not the path that I'm doing. I'm doing this every day. I'm reading this every day. I'm watching these videos every day. And it gets boring, bro. It does get boring watching the same thing over and over and over. But that monotony leads to success. I know it. And, we're living
compounding. Yep.
For sure.
Compounding effect.
There's a quote, one of my favorite quotes. I had it up on my wall when I was locked up, but it says, "A steady drop of water puts holes in rocks." So it doesn't take you big huge swings. It doesn't take all that. Just one, not even a step, a little crawl in the right direction every day, and
Chipping
things
away.
change, bro. Things change. Just stay down. Like what they say, stay down till you come up. It works, bro. It's real.
Yeah.
Like Cam, we've had conversations, right? You know, having to like what you're thinking about right now, and you're on fire, but then certain things, but we're staying consistent. Like, hey, let's keep talking, let's keep that communication open.
Yeah.
And I know that. Let me go ahead and talk to the audience about what you just referenced earlier, so they can kind of get an idea.
Yeah.
Is October 20 of 2024, my daughter passed. We had just started connecting, but then the connection
Day before.
yeah, it went. We stopped for a little bit just because I took some time to mourn
For sure.
and things of that nature. But we have a mutual friend, and he's also struggling mentally.
sure.
And we've been talking about this. Let's
Absolutely.
unpack that for all the listeners right now, who are thinking that maybe your problem's bigger than mine, or my problem's bigger than yours, or
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do this, and I want to change, I want to grow, I want to be somebody impactful, but look what I'm going through.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's like one of the biggest that people deal with in general. And some of us can get through it easier than others, and some of us end up stuck. And I feel like I've been resilient through everything, and I never felt like I'd be stuck. You know what I mean? And I've gotten there. So I try to be empathetic and try to like let myself allow to feel what that person is feeling like, because at the end of the day, I don't know how bad their struggle is. And it could all be internally, mentally. It could just be emotionally. I don't know. But getting stuck is difficult, and it happens. It'll be like you feel all the momentum, and then the devil blocking, he wants to make you feel like that you can't get past that. And that plateau is like, you can feel the other side. I can feel it. Anytime that I'm getting close to success and I start to feel those trials and tribulations coming, I'm like, oh, here it comes. You know what I mean? But you can get lost in that, and you can stop like, damn, how's this happen? Start feeling down on yourself and letting it beat you up, because rightfully so. This is your life. Like, when it starts getting hard and you want things to get better and it starts pouring and you're like, all right, joke's up. Come on, man. Let's get through this. So there's times where I'm like, man, don't be a bitch, bro. Get the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. But then there's other times where I'm like, I gotta be compassionate to my brother and let him know that I understand. And that's where that comes in, where it's like, how can I think that my problem is more superior or less superior to yours when my problems are my life? It could change. It can alter the whole course of my life. One small thing, and it could be a bad decision that a lot of us have made, or it can be a good decision that you think is the great right one, and it's not. You just talked. God removed two problems from your life, and gave you a blessing at the same time. Took the girl that wasn't doing right, took whoever the guy was who wasn't doing right, and then dropped you in a position to just power up on everybody. Is all you can find a good in everything.
That's right.
My favorite quote is from Thich Nhat Hanh, and he's a monk, and he said. He wrote a book first called No Mud, No Lotus, but without suffering, there is no happiness. You've got to go through it. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be able to experience it. The joy, where would the joy come from?
That's right.
If all you saw was light, you wouldn't recognize light.
Right.
You wouldn't cherish light. You would
Exactly.
just be,
Like Frederick Douglass, without struggle, there's no progress.
Got it.
hey, but it sounds good. It always sounds so good. Y'all make
For
it
sure.
sound so good.
For sure.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But what part of it isn't? Like, we all got up every single day, and I won't say they're shitty jobs. I'm not going to take anything from anybody. You're successful in your success. You can find greatness in anything, But for me, a 9 to 5 and taken all that time away from my family and the ones that I do love. And I want to find more people that I love. I want to continue to spread knowledge, growth, understanding. I want to spread wisdom. I want to be able to give people success and allow people to stop feeling all the suppression all the time. That shit's annoying. It's like one thing after another happens. It's, come on, stop beating me up. They want to feel good. They want to feel this. Like all of this information that is accessible readily now, but people are like, oh, scam or whatever. You have to be open. You have to want some type of difference. People want people to take care of them. We talked about that earlier. Everybody wants somebody to take care of them, whether it's your significant other or the child wants the dad to take care of them. Everybody wants that. But there becomes a time where you want to be the provider. Mm-hmm. And a 9 to 5 and coming home and watching somebody take my money and it not be enough, there had to be something else that could push me and elevate me. And there is the whole time. It's just like nobody wanted to tell you what it is. So if my struggle is stopping me right now, and mind you, it is. We are, like, everybody here knows that pretty much. You know, things.
It's yielding you.
It is. Yeah.
Not stopping.
Not stopping me at all. But I mean, it's actually building momentum. It's going to make it that much more
That's
worse
right.
when I have to run through shit on the way through.
That's right.
But it'll make me feel like it's stopping me. And then that's where the same thing, like our friend or whoever else is struggling at the time they go through that. It's because that block gets so bad. It's like you start to see things that you were trying to get and they were getting real close and they're starting to get back and back and back. And then you resort to other things, you know, or old ways or what's comfortable.
I'm going to take a teachable moment real quick. Number one, because if anybody's listening, and earlier I said we're Christians, believers, and stuff like that, and I know some people are going to judge the fact that, oh, they're cussing and stuff like that. Look,
we're imperfect.
We're all being redeemed. That's my first point. My second point, though, is this. If you go actually look in Scripture, you know who actually leads you to repentance?
The devil.
He's with me the most. 1 Timothy chapter 1, for instance, verse 20, Paul says, I'm going to hand you over to Satan that you may repent. When you look at Matthew chapter 4, Satan's trying to test Jesus to see if anything's in him. When he finds out there's nothing in him, Jesus is able to go into ministry, but Satan says, I will come back in a different season. When you look at what Jesus told Peter, he said, the devil is coming to sift you as wheat. But when you repent, he didn't say if you repent.
When?
He said, when you repent, go strengthen your brothers. You know, there's a lot of people that believe in God. And I think about Job. And Job was a blameless man, upright, prayed for his family and all this stuff, right? And that's what it says in Job 1. And then you read Job's life and you're like, holy moly, I don't want to be loved by God if that's what it means. He lost everything. But the last chapter, last paragraph of Job says, now who created, God gave Satan permission to test whether or not Job truly loved God like he said he did with his lifestyle, right? But this is what Job said at the very end. Job said, I had heard of you, Lord, but now I know you. And, you know, when we're all talking about life takes these turns and the enemy's hitting us and, you know, we're running into these walls, man, give congratulations right there. James, the book of James, man, this is the time to give God worship and praise, because if you're not running into the enemy, that means you don't have anything valuable, because you only steal from a house that's full of goods that you want.
Yeah.
Right? And so, if it's an empty home, there's no thief coming to you.
Yeah.
So if somebody's trying to steal your joy, your happiness, your purpose, man, give God praise, because really what you're going through is this testing to see if you're actually about that.
Amen.
That's right.
Right? And when I went through this, the last so many years of losing a real estate brokerage, losing an investment company, losing hundreds of thousands of dollars of not just my money, but family money that we put together. And then last year, losing my daughter. Every punch in the face by the enemy could have broke me.
Yeah.
Could have broke anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead of looking at it as if, why me? I looked at it and said, why not me? And I kept saying to myself, if the enemy is hitting me this hard, there must be something on the other side.
On the brink of greatness.
Yep.
And if I didn't pass the season, if I didn't make it to the other side, I wouldn't be where I'm at. The doors that are opening right now and all this stuff, and watching Impact Society come into fruition, and seeing all the diversity that's in here to come together and create the impact that we've all been searching for. But I've just been traveling this journey a little bit longer. I'm probably the oldest out of all of us.
You are.
You are. Thanks, Cam. Thanks, bro.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. When your daughter called me sir, where's that guy at? I was like, all right, bet. I'm old.
Hey,
now.
I teach my daughter. Yeah, I try to teach him respect. Yes, sir. But, we have to go through this because you're a living epistle read by all men. And the life that you have, everybody's different from mine. I'm different from y'all, right? But you have something to offer. But if you quit, if you don't let the book get finished, it'll never be fully written, right? And I love to see that we're all in here, we're unified behind the fact that we all knew we need financial literacy, because that's one of our first points is education. Education's first. And then we can get to the economics. Then we can get into the money game, and we can actually learn how to play with the money. And then after you start making the money, then you got to get into politics. You got to learn how to move your city, be the mayor of your city. You got to learn how to,
Absolutely.
right? And then social development. This is where we're going to be active in the communities, bringing impact, unity, organization. This is how it all comes together, right? And, if we give up on the journey, if we allow those dark days and stuff to dismay us, man, you don't know where you could have been, right?
No, but I know where you will be. Not where I want to be.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Speaking of trials, man, the last, I want to say 4 years, I had spoke to you about it, what was going on within my family. It's crazy because once I moved out to the suburbs, I told God, I said, all right, God, this is like a whole new life for me. All right, move what needs to be moved, keep what needs to be kept, and remove what needs to be removed. So then I grew up in a tight-knit family, 7 sisters, 1 brother. We always got together, partied. Then one day my daughter opened up about this guy in our family touching her. I said, oh, man. And he was like my favorite brother-in-law. I did everything with him. We played soccer. When she opened up to that broke everything. The whole family started breaking generational curses, went through a whole 4 years of investigation. Dude finally gave him, he accepted a 10-year plea deal. But that was like the beginning of everything of God removing what needed to be removed. Like, because sometimes as a mentor, one of my mentors told me, say, hey, if you want to grow in life, if you want to get to that next level, you need to get rid of your distractions in your life. I said, well, distractions, what do you mean? Sometimes your distractions is video games, which I used to play all the time. I said, dang. So I got rid of that first, because as soon as I got into business, when he told me that, I said, all right, I went home. So I'm selling the PS5. I was like, you just bought it like a few months ago. I said, I don't care. My mentor told me to do this, so I'm going to do this. I'm just going to listen to what he says. Started reading books, and then, got rid of, like I said, family started getting out of my life. I'm like, man, these people, so a lot of my siblings, instead of sticking up for my daughter, they stood up for him. I was like, dang, we're like, I'm the brother. I was the hood brother, and I would fight y'all husbands and stuff for disrespecting y'all. Y'all gonna turn y'all back on me? Like, you're not gonna believe your daughter. You're gonna believe this guy, and he's already had a situation in the family where they swept it under the rug 10 years ago. I said, it happened back then. Y'all still sweeping it under the rug. I said, okay, that tells me y'all are really not my family. So
Don't care.
I cut out my family, and life has been getting even better. Like, so okay, so that's what when they say when I said remove what needs to be removed, keep it. And God, God works. Everything happens.
Hey, there's actually a scripture, cost of discipleship. If you go into scriptures, there's a chapter called the cost of discipleship.
Yeah.
Right. One of the costs, it says, if you're not willing to leave your mother, father, brother, and sister for the gospel, you're not fit to be a disciple.
That's right. Yeah.
And I think it's wild that a lot of people think that they could just become a believer or a Christian or whatever and keep every negative thing in their life. And it's like, no, even the scriptures are telling you, you got to cut certain things off And if you're not willing to do it, you're not willing to be a disciple. You're not fit to be a disciple, right? And I think about it when it comes to business. That in business, there's just certain habits, certain things that you got to be willing to cut. If not, you're not going to go to that next level. You're not going to be a great businessman. You're not going to go out and create the impact. And to be honest with you, it's like, sometimes I used to think maybe that's why it took me so long to get where I'm at. 2005 is when God gave me all the vision, but it was this filtering process of I've got to get rid of this and got to get rid of that attitude and this personality and that and build into something greater, right?
Yeah.
Now, I want to shift that because I think about Moses, right? Like right now, you guys are going out and trying to go and impact your families. Not trying, we are.
Yeah.
We're going out and we're impacting our families. We're going in our communities and we're telling them what God is doing and how, what our movement's all about and stuff. And I always think about Moses, man, because imagine hearing from God that you're going to lead these people from slavery and you're going to lead them to a promised land. And you decide maybe in faith I'm going to start doing it. And you start walking, right? And they're following you. And then you see things ahead of you like this large body of water, and you're like, all right,
That's
Lord,
an
you're gonna keep moving. I mean, you're gonna show up, but you got to keep marching as if you don't see that water because you're standing on the word. Right. And it wasn't until he stuck his foot and the staff in the water that the water departed. Right. Now, even that being said, they're walking and walking and walking, and imagine following a man for 40 years and he's been going around in a circle and just I don't know about y'all, but I know if it was me, I'm like, hey, Moses.
Yeah, we've been going this way
Yeah.
for a long time,
are you
my
sure
boy.
you heard from the Lord?
Keep it real,
Because you
bro.
told me last year, the year before last, just keep having faith in you. Man, buddy, I'm trying.
Yeah.
Right?
My daughter just had a baby.
Hell, right. We done had kids on this travel. Man, life is different, Moses.
Yeah.
Right? And Moses has to keep having faith that, no, I'm leading you somewhere. We're eventually going to get there. And to be a leader, that call to leadership is, I tell people, if you wasn't a man of faith before, you will become a man of faith because, man, is it going to test your faith and belief in yourself, in your creativity, in the word that came to you, in the inspiration that you had, right? Let's unpack where you guys are on that journey because, again, I'm not calling myself Moses, but I'm helping mentor and coach you guys, right? And we're leading, we're going somewhere. We're leaving something and we're going somewhere. But sometimes it's hard to believe me. Sometimes it's hard to stay with me. Sometimes it's, right? Like, we've had conversations and then you have to, like, process it for a second and be like, and come back to me like, all right, I'm going to.
I try my hardest to be coachable. That's what I'm going to say first thing first.
You're doing great.
I never question the impact that we're making and what the end result is going. My only questions that I have lies within myself, man. And that's where I know God comes in because there's so much information I have to gain. There's so much things I have to do. So many connections I got to make. So many places I got to be that is involved with what we're doing here. And I know within myself, me physically, I can't do all this stuff. And the stuff that I'm learning and all the knowledge that I'm getting, so I know that there's something else propelling me forward. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like I'm not worried about the desert. I'm not worried about the 40 years. I'm not worried about the ocean or nothing like that. Really, I'm here. I'm rocking. I never have any questions about it. I know what we're doing. I know the feeling I get. I know the reception that we're getting with the people. I know the knowledge that we're learning. I know the seed that we have. So me personally, it's never no questions with the team. It's never no questions with our leadership. It's internal. And those really be the hardest things for real.
Yeah. What about y'all?
Good.
I mean, I think that there's times where it's a little bit difficult for some people to see the end goal as being attainable more than it is to to understand why we're following you or following each other into whatever it is, because it does make sense and everything. I can feel the path, so it's like I get that feeling where I know where I'm supposed to be, and I've known the feeling where I'm definitely not supposed to be. You know what I mean? And it's similar in the fact that you get that feeling of anxiety or like the nervousness, but this one is with pleasure. Like it's like I want to indulge in that. I want to continue to follow it, and versus feeling that negative. But again, with anything new, especially, it's going to be like you got to weigh out your pros and cons and try to figure out. And I mean, I could weigh this all day long, and I'm going to continue to come to the same result. You know, the good outweighs the bad. There is no negative here. There is absolutely none. Versus everything else in my life that I could weigh a pro and a con. If we don't bring financial literacy to these people that don't have it, then we're going to continue to have a cycle of the same people that we were or that they are now. And I want to be able to help these people get out of these problems. You know what I mean? Like it's especially with middle class America. Even look at those people are struggling, a lot of them, because you're in a bracket where you can't get help. So you're not going to get help because you make enough money where you're kind of getting it. You're getting the idea. Now just be a little bit more of an entrepreneur and you'll make it to where we're going to show you how to get some breaks or whatever. But if you're not to that level, then we're chasing a dream, but you can't quit. There is a lot of momentum riding right here already. You know, there is a lot of momentum, and it's touched a lot of people. Like we're having conversations in Massachusetts. We're having conversations in Oregon or Oklahoma, or, you know, I've clients all over this country right now that are calling, and everybody's interested, and you see the interest immediately, like, because people know that this is there has been something out there that can help elevate you, or, you know, change this whole dynamic if you're willing to put in the effort and put in the time to make it happen. Mm-hmm. If you sit and be complacent, then you're going to continue to get that same result.
Yeah.
You got to get up and go, and you definitely got to chase it too, you know?
Can't just sit. I heard a quote today, man, and I'm real cool. I take quotes when I'll run with you, man. I might even walk with you. I'm not going to sit with you, man.
Yeah.
So,
I
feel that.
Hey, that was Dream Motivates that said that.
Hey, man, I take the quote where I see my hair game, I take you.
That is dope.
That.
So we're about to wrap up. Give me 60 seconds of we're building Impact Society. It's more than just financial services. Again, we're educating, we're empowering, we're bringing resources. We've got credit repair on there, business funding, help people create trust, help people create 501c3s. We want to be an all-encompassing one-stop shop to bring resources and tools to people, right? Mm-hmm. What's your vision? Give me about 60 seconds of telling me why Impact Society is the movement that people need to be learning about and joining, so that they can also create the distribution of what the hope that we're trying to bring.
Why Impact Society? Simple and plain, there is no other organization with this many people from these different walks of life who have all come together, all focused on just making everyone better. We want to just build as each other. We want to raise each other's frequency. We want to raise the level. We want to give the knowledge and give the game. We're not gatekeeping. We're not hiding anything from you. All the information, all the knowledge that we're giving you, you can go look it up and do it yourself. We just want to open the doors, man. And we've been in those positions. Those places, those dark places. We didn't dance around it. We didn't see our uncles or cousins do it. We were there. We were there with you. So we resonate. We know we don't just have empathy, we have sympathy. We understand what you're going through, and it's why it's different, man. It's a heartfelt thing. That's the reason why we want to what we're doing.
No, Bill? You know.
Oh, so Impact Society, we're just piggyback off what he said. We're here to help you. We've been there. We've spoken to families. We know your pain. We find your pain, because a lot of people they like to hide their pain, but we find the pain and we solve your pain. So we're here to help you for anything you need. Like I said, with the credit repair, C Corps, just you name it. We're gonna be here.
Educating, that's right.
So what, like vision of where?
Yeah, like you're in the movement, right? Yeah, and it lay hold on you.
Absolutely.
And what are you looking to do and accomplish with the people in your circle with this movement?
I want to open doors that we didn't have possible. So lack of information has been a problem for most of my journey through this until I met you guys. So this is the first group that I've had that really have given me everything with nothing in return. Like you guys haven't asked anything from me from the beginning. And because I know how it's already impacting me and I'm watching it impact other people, there isn't a way that I couldn't stand behind it. And the name speaks for itself, Impact Society. If there isn't a person in this, or if there isn't something that you can identify with one of us in here, then I don't know where you've been living. I couldn't tell you, because we have everything. We have all different walks of life, like Dame was just saying. And there is something for everybody. There's something better for everybody. And if this opportunity is presented to you, there's a million things in an every day-to-day process that are not helpful. Scrolling your phone, just being lazy or complacent, overindulging in food, being gluttonous, whatever, Most people have had a problem in their life. Most people either have debt or they have a problem with a relationship or something, and all those took a lot of time to get into. So there is no reason for somebody not to try to gain information when information is accessible. And if we're telling you that we're here to help make a change and that we're trying to impact society, well, there isn't a chance that none of us came from that. We're doing it. Like,
that's right.
Every single one of us is proof in this. It is changing actively. It's changing our lives. So, I can't do anything but encourage people to make a step in the right direction with us.
That's right.
It's a movement for sure that can't be denied. There's no way.
So, as we wrap up, there's 3 things that I believe that changes everybody's life. Number 1 is the books that you read. The books that you read change the information that you possess, okay? The second thing I believe that changes your life is the events that you attend, because the events that you attend put you in proximity in places that you would have never been able to have a conversation with that person. Go see something different, right? What makes us different from animals is animals can't leave their environment. If a polar bear left the polar places, it's no longer a polar bear. If a fish tried to leave the water, it might not make it. But as a human, you have the ability to go places. Go. So, books you read, events that you attend, and the last one is the people that you surround yourself with. Mm-hmm. They say that you're an average of the 5 people that you hang out with. Mm-hmm. And if you did an analysis, if you did an audit on those 5 people, and it doesn't come up with the place that you always wanted to be, then guess what that means? You need to change it.
Come get with the winning circle.
You're the smartest person in your group. You got to level up.
That's right.
Find 4 more smarter people.
We're inviting everybody not only just to hear us talk about, Impact Society and be on the podcast, join the website, join the tribe, take a hold of all the resources that we have there. If you're a vendor and you want to learn how you could be a part of what we're doing and add more resources, love to have a conversation with you. If you want to get on the podcast and talk about how you could bring more resources and tools to the people, I'd love to have a conversation with you. At the end of the day, this is a movement. This is not something that we're just hoping to earn money, or we're not even thinking about the money. We know that money is a reflection of what we've done, right? It's a response to what we've done. So we're about creating impact. And this is Impact Society.